The Crash Course Podcast is brought to you in part by DerbyParks.com, Smashmaster, Derby Parks, and Derby Inc. magazine. Live it, breathe it, be it, Derby Inc. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby Podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
Good afternoon, good evening, good day. Welcome to episode number 7 of the Crash Course Demolition Derby Podcast. I'm Chris Marquardt. Joining me in studio, we've got the effervescent Brian Tompkins. Effervescent. I like that. I told you I was going to get you with that.
Good one.
Josh Decker's here. Effervescent means bubbly. It's like soda, Josh.
Okay, thank you.
That's so you know. We got Sam Williams coming on here in about 10 minutes or so. We got Bobby Brockway going to follow him up after that, and then we've also got Chase Moellering coming on a little bit later on. Big Midwest swing for us today.
Nice.
But before we get into all the stuff going into Blizzard Bash in Topeka, Kansas, when we load up the truck and make the 18-hour drive out to be part of their program with the pay-per-view, in addition to doing some Crash Course podcast stuff in the morning, Saturday and Sunday. We had Black Rock yesterday, King Smash and Crash from Demolition Derbies. What a great show that was out there. One of the hardest hitting shows of the year. Ended the season on a high note. Chad Winnie walking away with the full-size championship, and that really was second to the RV Derby. That was just an incredible
it was awesome
example of destruction and carnage.
It was awesome.
It was great. Josh's favorite part was the fact that he had somebody taking advantage of the restroom in his RV only moments before the green flag dropped.
Yes, thank you, cool. Josh Buell, for using my laboratory here while we were about to drive out there.
So that was kind of exciting.
It was awesome.
And Vern Backus, he was lost in the shuffle on that. Unfortunately, Vern was on the backstretch, finishing off Guy Raymond in no uncertain terms. Just about took the frame completely off of that RV, and Guy was just about laying on the ground after that RV imploded, and Vern was leaning down, basically upside down, to get the thing to restart, and it did refire while on the front stretch. The final two. Jeremy, I think, was the guy that won it. I don't remember his name. He was one of the guys that runs the street stock division over there at Black Rock Speedway, and he came away with the RV win. The V8 division was a heck of a show too. I think there was 8 or 9 Imperials there. There was a couple caddies. Josh was on the track for that. Josh Buell was there. We had
Richie was there. Brett was there. Bellis was there.
Yep. A couple Hartford cars showed up, and boy, they were hitting hard. I've never seen a 65 Imperial get used up in one heat, but when the frame rails are blown out and down and out and over back again, yeah, that pretty much does it. That thing was done and over with. So it was a good show. Youth division show was pretty good. The adult 4s and 6s, they were excellent. Paul Small was the track announcer. We were able to tape it. We had a bunch of in-car angles. We had an in-car on the RV, Rich Predmore, and he made one hit. The thing was pretty much the camera was flush with the nose, and he made a hit with the nose, and then the engine fell out of that RV following the line of his car when he broke all the engine mounts out of his Imperial. That thing's heading to the scrapyard.
Yeah.
And then somebody came along and hit him in the side, and what should have been a driver's door, but they don't have doors in the front, so what's it matter, right?
Absolutely.
And it folded the mount right over, so the mount is still attached to the wall of the camper.
Yeah,
the camper came home.
Took that apart.
Yeah, anybody that wants to watch that video, which I think everyone should want to watch that video, they should go to my Facebook page and watch that. It was crazy to watch those things completely fall apart, and guys were hitting with their body parts. I'm telling you, I saw Andy Brown hit the whole right side of his camper. The captain chair and the passenger side was up against him, and he was hitting, and it was pushing against him. I seen him pushing it with his hands. It was pretty scary.
Yeah. Before the show, John King stood up on one of the Imperials in line to go out and said, "Hey, we have a couple extra campers. Anybody want to run one?" And I think it was Brett said, "Brian, you want to run one?" And I went, "Yeah, no. Demoing with plywood isn't my idea of fun." It was great to watch, and I'm glad you guys did it, but the key term there is you guys.
Nah, I got to thank John King and Black Rock, because they let one of my head mechanic, Vern, run one, and me run one, and all those guys. I mean, there were so many great guys in motorhomes. I think it was awesome.
Yeah,
and I hope they do that again. I mean, my kid loved it.
It was cool.
Shout out to, in Brian's favorite term, a shout out. If you will. Yep, that's Brian's favorite thing. Brian loves to toss the shout-outs out. SB Motorsports announcing, monitoring the DerbyParks.com live chat for us, and he's weighing in. He remembers Vern Backus. Steve Bucknam was announcing at Broome County this year, and he's anticipating being back in 2014. And he described Vern as an animal, and you should have seen him with that Ford in the full-size Derby. He did a pretty good job with that wagon.
Vern's been friends of mine for about 5 years. I know him just from Derby.
Vern who?
Vern Backus. Yeah, exactly. And that's going to stick with him forever. But he's a kid that I stick in a car, and he flat-foots it every single time, no matter what. And when they said they wanted to stick him in an RV, not a better person, because he knew he was just going to go nuts.
The guy did a great job, too.
Yeah,
I mean, guy had a bit of a target on him. Guy Raymond in the 01X. He didn't get very far into the adult 4 and 6 cylinder show. He won in the spring, and apparently they remembered it. And he had the Fight with Attitude pink car, a tribute to his I want to get this right, father-in-law. The car came from his father-in-law, and he ran that car, and he had an online vote, and they elected to paint the car pink, and he had a big ribbon on the front for brain and liver cancer support, and ran that in tribute of him. Was hoping to see him pick up the win, because it'd be cool to take any tribute car like that. You kind of automatically get behind him.
And Guy's a good guy. He's a good sport. He derbies been derbying as much as most of these V8 guys go around. He's at all the 4-cylinder places, and he's a good sport every single time. I do like Guy.
He's definitely a good supporter.
Yep.
Hey, and to quote my buddy Chris, I do want to give a shout out.
Here we go.
In all seriousness, away from the derby world a little bit, I'm sure we probably have some veterans out there listening.
Yes.
And hey, thank you to all the veterans. If it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be able to be sitting here talking. And so thank you for getting us the freedom. Thank you for protecting them. You guys are the real heroes.
Steve Bucknam posted today, again clarifying the difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day. And
I think everyone read that.
Yeah, it was cool to see.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely either way.
Chris, you were nervous, so you thought I was going to do something not good. Huh?
We all do. We all were worried.
Yeah, I get nervous when you have an idea. I really do get nervous because I don't ever know what's going to come, because there's some arcing wires in there, and every now and again they come together the right way, but usually it just makes me nervous.
That's all right.
Hey, before we get off topic, let's go back to Black Rock, because I need to babble all day. What I wanted to say was let's talk about that V8 heat real quick, because that's probably one of the best ones of the year. I know we're going to just fly right past it here in a few minutes because we got people calling in. Boy, it was awesome. For anyone that's saying not to let Imperials run, holy cow! Yesterday was so high paced. Everyone was blasting each other. I mean,
and those Imperials weren't necessarily the class of the field. Your Cadillac and Jason Bellis had a Cadillac.
Yeah.
Was that a Cadillac or Oldsmobile?
That
was a Caddy.
Yeah, Jason's a big Caddy guy.
But there was a whole bunch of good stuff out there. It wasn't just all Imperials, but boy, I mean, it was just a great derby, and I like that they let Imperials. I think it helped the car count in that situation. It was 6 or 7 more cars that wouldn't have come anywhere else. So.
Well, I was staying there with Jesse Howe, and
we got Smash Masters joining us in the live chat tonight.
Of course, Jesse Howe is a legend from the Southern Tier. I mean, he's got hundreds of wins, and Jesse's one of the guys I know. Decker and myself, I used to love to go down and watch him run. But Jesse, it started, and Jesse looked at me about 30 seconds in and said, "It's going to be fast-paced."
Oh, yeah.
Now, we just stood there talking.
Yeah.
And
that track was just about perfect.
It was.
I mean, that track was running great on the infield.
Awesome.
Yeah, there was no rooster tails or mud getting flung or anything. It was all grip.
It was all.
I
can't count the number of times I watched Richie Predmore back as far down as he could.
Yeah, there was no out of bounds, by the way.
No.
I'm not really sure.
The out of bounds was turn 4 and turn 1. You just had all the room you wanted.
I'm not sure where Richie was backing to, but it was a long ways away, and he would hit and piles would move. It wasn't just Richie, though. Everybody was driving hard. I mean, there was guys. Vern was driving hard in a 90 Ford wagon.
He ran real hard.
Corey Relier was running hard with a Galaxy that had no hood, half fenders.
It was ugly.
The rear end wasn't in it, like the pin that the rear end sits on. Yeah, it wasn't on that. And
that car ran Hartford, and then Brett had it out.
Broome-Toga.
And then I think it was out another time before it came to Black Rock. So that was the 4th time on that.
And a week ago, Brett goes, "Hey, if you want, you can run my car at Black Rock," and ended up getting rained out or whatever happened the first week. And I said, "Brett, it'd be an honor. I'd love to run one of your cars." And I hadn't seen the Galaxy. So then I got there yesterday, and Corey was going to drive it, which is, I have no problem with, obviously.
He drove it to Hartford.
Yeah, and then I kind of looked at it and went, "Ooh, maybe it wouldn't have been such a good idea to run." But,
He ended up impaling
Vern's
car. The whole front end was
Thanks,
stuck.
Corey. I hope you're listening.
Yeah. It took
no big deal.
It took 2 wreckers and a lift to get those cars apart.
And the thing is once they got them apart, Vern drove on the trailer.
Yeah.
Vern's car would still run.
Yeah,
He couldn't get anywhere. He was dragging that Galaxy around.
I don't think Josh can junk that one. I'm thinking,
junking it.
I'm thinking Vern's going to have to run it again.
Nah, I'm junking it.
Vern, I'm voting for you to run it again. Don't listen to Josh.
Don't. I need the money to buy a Chrysler.
Vern, don't.
Need the
don't
money to
go,
buy.
buddy.
What do you need a Chrysler for?
I need a couple more. I'm so short right now on cars. I got all these shows I want to go to, and I only have 4 cars.
You know, they're selling cars at Kansas.
Yeah.
I want to bring a trailer.
Well, we can do that, actually. Good thought.
Mid-70s Shocker might be a preferred car July 8th, 2014.
But also, I want to say about last night was real cool that everybody, for the most part, everybody was having a good time. I mean, there was a lot of hard hitting going on.
Right up until the end of the feature.
No one was right. No one was upset with each other. I don't think really wasn't that too much.
Yeah, they were instructed to back apart, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I didn't like that. I mean, Brett was using some brain power there, and I think he might have had him actually there.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but when they split him apart, there's no doubt Winnie was going to win that.
Yeah.
But he deserved it.
Yeah.
I mean, he was taking some hits all day. Him and I duked it out for like the first 5 minutes, I felt like.
Yeah.
And his car was hard.
Yeah, it was. It was very hard. I'm pretty sure that's got something to do with the fact that your bumper is touching your air cleaner.
Oh, my God. And let me say thank you to Brett for letting me run that car because I don't think my foot ever come off the gas pedal. Maybe it did. Maybe when I shifted a couple times. But I loved it. It screamed, and it was such a great drivetrain. I had a great time.
I definitely want to give a shout out to my buddy Chris and all the other drivers that put on the great show.
Thank you. Thank you.
No,
More shout-outs.
Very good show.
Great.
Very good show.
Anything else?
Yeah, the one official from King Smash 'em Crash 'em that hit Jason Bellis in the head with the flag. I'm just going to give you some advice. I've officialed a couple times. In the future,
You've officiated.
Yeah.
Right.
In the future, you may not want to hit somebody in the head with the flag.
Sometimes you need to get their attention. When they're standing up on the floor of their car, reaching into their hood because their throttle's stuck wide open.
Regardless.
You should probably hit them in the head with a flag.
No, Bellis is a huge wrestler.
Yeah.
You don't mess with Bellis.
Yeah,
Wrong guy.
Yeah, you may not want to hit guys in the head with flags. That's just some friendly advice. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying in the future, reconsider that because bad things could happen, man.
Well, hopefully they don't happen again and they don't hit anybody in the head with flags and we can continue seeing some good things when we get out to Blizzard Bash. Joining us on the line right now from Ultimate Derby, the promoter of Blizzard Bash, Sam Williams. Sam, welcome back to Crash Course.
Hey guys, how are you?
We're doing all right. Thanks for joining us here. How is all the planning going out there? You guys just about set up out there or you still got some work to do?
No, we're getting pretty good. All the trailers are pretty much loaded now. We'll head south on Wednesday, get all the hoist set up and get all ready to go on Wednesday, and we'll be ready to go.
We're rolling out of here Thursday. We're driving all night. We'll be down there in time to get everything set up and ready to go for the first round of qualifying, which kicks off Friday night at 7 o'clock. And then from there, it's just hammered down. There's stuff going on all weekend long, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah, it's pretty much crazy. We start inspections at 8 o'clock Thursday morning, and we'll be going nonstop till Sunday night. So, yeah, no, it should be a great weekend. I hope you guys have a safe trip out. But no, all the pay-per-views all set up. We just got all of that. We'll be going on our Facebook. If it's not up there yet, it'll be going up there tonight, where all the pay-per-view where it can be viewed at Ustream and all that kind of stuff. So no, I think we're pretty much ready to go, and everything's all set up. We got lots of cool videos and all kinds of cool commercials with the sponsors and all that kind of stuff. So it should be a great show this year.
What's left that you can register for? Because I was looking online and pretty much everything's full.
We're pretty much full up at this point. There's a few 80 spots left, which we're taking registrations as of yesterday on those. A few of I think we might have a couple spots in the youth class open, but outside of that, we're pretty much full. I think we're running 270 right now.
Nice.
Can't wait. It's going to be insane, and there are some nasty cars coming with some of the pictures we've seen on the internet and stuff. So, yeah, inspections should be nice and long and fun.
we heard I think it was last year that there was the stripped Ford frame sitting next to the inspection line so that everybody had a reference point.
Yeah, we do a lot of that. We bring down bumpers sometimes, especially now that we allow them to build bumpers. We'll have 20 bumpers sitting there just as reference points and make sure that everything's legitimate. But yeah, I want to say we loaded 9 or 10 cars last year, and I would assume, they will probably do that again this year.
Wow,
That's awesome.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but I do have a question about some of the rumors that are circulating around Blizzard Bash, and give you a chance to either dispel or address it if you wish. Is the Topeka Police Department going to be doing VIN checks?
Oh, we gotta love Crusher. Let's go off the air, and I can talk more about that. Not to my knowledge. The city of Topeka has been just outstanding. There are a few people that absolutely give me fits every year. Love to see us fail and love to call people like the Sheriff's Department of Topeka and then talk about it on the internet.
Yeah.
But no, for the most part,
I thought you'd have some.
Topeka, I mean, the Visitors Bureau will be there on Thursday thanking the drivers for coming. I mean, the Visitors Bureau has just rolled out the red carpet. We have over 600 hotel rooms already booked in town. The Capitol Plaza is 100% full. It's been full for over a month now. So, no, the city of Topeka is very excited about the guys coming in.
Yeah, we're just trying to have some fun, Sam. I don't want you to take that too serious. We're just trying to have a good time there.
Fine. Oh, you're fine. I love the stuff as it comes up on the internet.
How much do you actually cruise the internet? I mean, you go and look at what some of the other folks are building and some of the things that are projected to be coming, and beyond that, when you see the stuff posted and you see the pictures and stuff, do you kind of take it with a grain of salt and just say, you only believe what you see in person?
I don't get on, like, we crash and that kind of stuff. I don't get on there hardly at all anymore. But what we do find is, a lot of guys will send us stuff like that post there. I had it texted to me from 2 different drivers, and hey, here's what's out there tonight. So no, most people keep us up to speed. Pictures from drivers and stuff, we'll usually get them sending us pictures if they're questioning something they've done or questioning something that they've heard they can do. They'll send us a picture and just find out if it's cool or not, and you just see the rest of the car. And man, it's amazing some of the time these guys are spending in these cars. I would say on the 80s and the team side, and I mean just about any side, there's well over 100 hours in these cars anymore. It's just crazy.
Oh my god,
That's awesome.
Yeah, can you believe that?
it's exciting. I can't wait to get out there, Sam. I'm so excited. I take some money out of the bank already because I know I'm going to spend some money down there. I can't wait.
Now, Sam, this is Brian. I asked you before about moving the date. Now, I got the birthday party out of the way, so I'm going to be able to make it to Blizzard Bash, which is awesome.
Nice.
But what I'm wondering, being a deer hunter, I'm missing my opening weekend. So if you got anybody close by Topeka, I'd be happy to like a 130 class. I mean, I know that's just a management buck out there in Kansas, but that's a monster here. So if you got any guys looking to do some hunting and want to take a redneck from New York out, I mean, I'm up for it. Just pass it around your crew.
What are you
and
doing?
any of the guys, just
Shut your mouth. We're going to be derbying. Derby time.
I don't have to be there for inspection. Look, you can go with me because Chris is going to set up all the technical stuff so we don't screw it up.
I'm there to learn. I'm so excited to
I'm going to learn too how to shoot a trophy whitetail.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be learning how to bend metal. I can't wait.
But you heard last time Sam was on, the fronts of those cars don't bend.
Right, and I want to see why. I want to learn all that. I can't wait. I really can't.
What is there anything that's become a hot topic as you're moving towards inspection and getting cars rolling through the Topeka Expo Center that's come up that's been a hot button issue or anything that people are talking about the most in terms of build questions?
Probably the 03s are going to be, the most controversial cars down there.
Sure.
We're getting a lot of questions on those because they're so new to the promoting world and to us and to everybody else. I mean, we've seen them running for the last 2 or 3 years in our shows, but yeah, the lengths that these guys will go to find the gray area in the rules is pretty crazy. So I would say that will probably be our biggest controversy on the ramp this year is going to be the 03s. Outside of that, it's pretty cut and dry. And I had one of my good drivers call me the other night and said, "Man, are you hearing any drama or anything?" I'm like, "No, it's almost scary." And he's like, "Yeah, man, we're not hearing nothing." So, in the derby world and no drama makes you a little bit nervous. Right. But everybody's working so hard on their stuff, and I just think everybody's excited about it. I can see it all over our Facebook, all over my own Facebook. Just everybody talking about they're leaving and packing the trailers full of adult beverages and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And everybody's getting excited. And I think it's going to be a good time.
Sam,
We're
Josh,
excited. We're definitely thinking this will be our biggest show yet. So
Sam, where's the farthest that you have guys coming from? Could you tell us maybe, is everyone coming right out of Kansas, or do you guys how far away are people? I see some Ohio and Illinois and Indiana guys on my Facebook going.
We've got Ohio, Michigan. I've got, now, those are just the guys who are coming to drive, I would say, are probably the furthest away.
Yep.
We pull out of Tennessee, North Dakota, clear up by Canada. West, we get Colorado, Montana, those areas. But as far as, like, drivers coming out to watch, I know, like, Troy Tagg out of California, they're bringing 9 or 10 guys out. They're all coming to watch. I got guys flying in from Canada. They run a lot of the Alberta and those type of shows up there. They're coming to watch. I get messages all the time, hey, man, we're coming so many miles, or we're flying in, and we're doing this, and we're doing that. So, I think we're going to have a good array of drivers there, and a lot of, builders from different areas. So it's kind of fun to listen to them and, hear everybody's stories and how they do it different than we do it. And, that's what's fun about a derby like this is you see so much crazy stuff, because what they do in Colorado is completely different to what they do in Ohio.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You just get to see a whole mixture, and you put all those ideas together, and you can build a pretty nasty car.
Are you more in favor? Are you in favor of more rules or fewer rules? You take Josh for example. Josh wants his rules to be on one sheet of paper, but he's built for shows that have a book of 8 or 10 pages worth of rules. Brian builds all his cars the same way, pretty much regardless of what he's going up against. Are you more in favor of having a short rule book, or do you want something that's a booklet with everything very, very, very specific and very spelled out?
We're very specific and very spelled out. And I would love to have one sheet of paper, but I know what I would get coming across the ramp would be insane.
Yep.
Because it's just, it leaves, and I know there's a lot of good rule builders out there that can build great rules in 1 or 2 pages, but we're covering such a diverse bunch of cars.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta make sure a 1958 whatever is covered, clear up to a 2011 Ford. And so, when we write rules, in fact, we're having to revamp our rules again this year because of just all the questions we've gotten and going, what do you guys think of this stuff? We already know some stuff that's coming, and it's, just trying to creative building is not an issue for us. We have no issue with creative building. Flat breaking the rules is a problem.
Right.
If they get it creative and they find the gray area, we have no issue with that. It makes us sit back and scratch our head and try to fit it underneath another rule where it is illegal. And so, there's this, like I've talked about, there's just a whole chess game with us and the drivers up there, with them going, well, no, technically that's this, and and so we get into a lot of, technically it's this or technically it's that.
It's all interpretations.
There's definitely arguments both sides.
Sure.
Is the predominant car for the team leg of the event going to be the new style Ford, or are you seeing some of that old iron stuff coming in as part of those teams?
It just depends. We threw GM wagons back in this year as allowed to run.
Nice.
We've just never had GM wagons before because of the fact that the tracks were too small, and GM wagon's a good front and back car and going back and forth, and so they couldn't get them turned around, and so we just kind of got rid of them there for a little while. But we're going to allow them back in this year, so we expect 4 or 5 of them to be back because each team can only have one. And so, but I would say 60 to 70% of what you'll see is new style Fords.
Okay, can I just ask a question there? You're saying they can have any other car and then just one clamshell wagon, or how does that rule? Could you just explain that rule real quick?
They can have 2 new and 2 old. And so,
nice.
Or they can't have any more than 2 old iron cars, 1979 or older. And so they have to have 2 1980s or newer. But what we've allowed is one of their old iron, we've allowed them to have 1 GM wagon if they want it.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that's got some of the guys who used to build a lot of GM wagons excited again. They've jumped back on teams, and they're saying, hey, with your rules, I can build a wagon, won't get bent by a Ford. Ford guys are saying, I'll eat them alive. So,
right.
You're going to see both sides of it. So
awesome.
That's cool. A GM wagon's a great car because they'll take a beating all night long. And so what some teams will probably do is put a GM wagon out there and let everybody beat on it, while hopefully the other 3 cars can.
It's your decoy.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
That's neat.
It's decoy. That's actually the role that Josh fills with the team that he runs without here. He's always the decoy.
I feel like that.
He can completely relate to all those Chevy wagon guys.
But I would love to do a team derby. I can't wait to go watch that because I want to start pushing that out here for us somewhere because it looks so exciting and it's a whole different dynamic of derby, and I think people would like it out here.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
it just gets rid of the whole sandbagging issue. I mean, it's 4 guys against 4 guys.
Absolutely.
You sit in a corner, your buddies are going to have to do it for you.
Yep.
And so, you'll see some of that. You'll see, when the cars all of a sudden, get up 2 or 3 on one or, whatever, you'll start to see the cars, 1 or 2 cars are going to save, and, they'll start dogging back a little bit, and the other ones just keep hammering away. And so there's definitely different strategies on different teams, and it's fun as the weekend goes on to see if they worked or not, or, and it's, by the time you get to the Sunday, everybody's just, hanging on and seeing what they got left.
And how many rounds will a team go through?
The most if they lost if you lose the first round, the most you could have to run is 4 times.
Okay.
And that's with the same cars.
Win. You'll win your first round, win your second round, that puts you in the finals.
Wow, and they're all doing this with the same 4 cars.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait. This is
And
exciting.
Fixed frames, you can't put stubs in them. You can't. You've got to run them. You can keep fixing them. The first fix is 3 hours long. The second fix is actually a 6-hour fix.
Wow.
Use every minute of it.
So cool.
But I mean, you'll have guys out there changing motors and transmissions and stuff, right? I mean, if there's problems, there's times guys can change that stuff.
Yeah, in the 6-hour fix, we usually see 2 or 3 motor swaps.
Wow. That's awesome.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah. You excited?
That's pretty neat. Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's definitely something you don't see in the pits at Broome County or Seneca County.
No county fair stuff.
No. We ain't pulling no motors out.
If you haven't ever seen it before, a team derby with new style Fords, the way that Blizzard Bash is set up, just like the one that I went to out in Illinois earlier this year, Spring Explosion, it will redefine what your definition of hit and hold is.
Yeah.
It's insane. I mean, just the pace. It's like the pace at Black Rock last night with 8 cars on the track that all have $8,000 in them.
Yeah.
And it's pretty crazy.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
There'll be probably, I'm going to guess, over 40 cars with nearly $20,000 in them.
Oh, man. Can you point those out to us when we get there? I just want to look over them.
No,
Just want to see what
you'll know
that
when they
looks
drive
like.
on the track.
Nice.
Nice.
And you use ramps for inspection, right? You get them right up in the air so you can see underneath them and everything.
You bet. And even like that, I mean, that there type of stuff, you guys will be more welcome, but like the general public and even the pits, we keep all that back because, I mean, guys' secrets are guys' secrets.
Sure.
Just keep it all taped off, and they're allowed to be there, one driver plus a guy to make sure that their interpretation is the same of what we said to do. Then they'll get a list that just, they either hand it back to them or tape it to their hood of everything that's got to be done, and then they'll have to come through retech, and they get one shot through retech. If there was anything that they didn't do like we asked them to do, or if it's a misinterpretation, usually we'll work with them. But if it's just flat, you chose not to fix it right, we just load the car.
And does that happen a lot? Do you get guys that really just try to push you on the second time and you end up kicking them out?
Yeah, I would say that's probably 2 or 3 of the times that we loaded cars last year. We'll just they come back and just blatantly didn't do what we asked them to do, and a lot of times guys will just short the fix like we asked them to do it, and like I said, if it's just a misinterpretation, we'll work with them. But if it's just a flat, I thought I could get away with it, and there was 10 things on my sheet, and I didn't fix 2 of them because I figured you'd look past it. Yep. We just load their car.
Wow,
that's great.
Now of the 270 cars, that are all going to be inspected, how many of them, guesstimate, how many of them are going to have to come back through for a second inspection?
Good question.
Like this,
I had one pass inspection on the first time last year. One.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I was going to say 269 of them are coming back through.
That's awesome. So, but that's the thing. I mean, you go to a show like that and you got to push the rules, because everybody else is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no different than back when I was a kid and the biggest race we used to have up here, Syracuse. Everybody pushed the rules, and you got it to compete. I mean, I'm sure it's just the same thing out there, and it's going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to it.
Online, it's
still any drivers for it. We try not to get huffy with them or puffy. We just, as long as the driver works with us, we'll work with them clear to the end. I mean, it's
absolutely
one of those deals of, the thing that they will get loaded immediately for is hidden metal, a lot of times they'll weld up all their trunk seams and then paint over it, or anything that they've done and painted over, we just load them up. I mean, if they blatantly knew it was wrong and tried to cover it, we just load them. Mm-hmm. But outside of that, we work with anybody, and all my drivers are some of the best cheaters. All my tech guys are some of the best cheaters in the area, and so we've all done it, and so it's just one of those deals that we don't fault anybody for creative building. we just try to work with them and make sure that they're on the same page we are when we're done.
It's www.blizzardbash.com, promoted by Ultimate Derby, with help from O'Reilly's Auto Parts and Speedway Motors. Anybody else you want to take a minute and mention before we let you go? We got Bobby Brockway coming up here in about 2 minutes.
Nope, everybody, we appreciate everybody coming out, and everybody have a safe trip out, and we'll see you guys later.
Well, we sure do appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule. I know you got gobs and gobs of work to get through this week, and we hope all your travels go safe as well, and we sure look forward to getting a chance to meet up with you and do some crash course work at Blizzard Bash in Topeka.
Sounds good. Tell Bobby to get that piece of junk done that he's working on.
We'll let him know.
Sounds good, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Sam. We'll catch up with you soon.
All right.
Bye.
All right, sounds good. Bye-bye.
There goes Sam Williams.
This is going to be a different world for us. I'm going to realize how redneck of a derby driver I am. I can't wait for this stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you got another thing coming, man.
No, I do.
You better bring a camera and a couple extra batteries.
Oh, I know. My camera's just going to be picture.
I get the feeling our shockers wouldn't compete on there.
No, I know. Not even. But I just can't. I mean, to think that those guys are going to be that hard pace and get through 3 heats. I mean, what are these cars going to look like at the end? And $20,000.
Well, they're folded up in the back and straight in the front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
that's crazy.
But $20,000 in a car.
Yeah.
What do these guys do for a living? Because I can't do that.
Well, I mean, you can, but you don't like to brag about it.
I want a house. Oh man, that just sounds great, man.
Yeah, it does.
I like that rule of letting a couple old in. Yeah. I mean, that's neat. You can run 80s, but if some old guys want to run their old style,
the best thing is if they're, I'm assuming, which probably isn't a big assumption. I went to Mayhem 2010, and that's when they first let the bubble Fords run in the old class, and to see Toby Hiley back up with a bubble Ford and just drive a Chevy wagon to the tailgate, and 4 hits in, there be no more Chevy wagon.
Yeah.
Oh, because I'm not a fan of GMs like you're not a fan of GMs.
No.
So to see them get junked, that was awesome.
Love watching clam cells get junked.
Yeah, that's great. There's nothing better.
No.
I mean, that's, but hopefully we'll see some of that out there.
I'm excited as hell. I can't even wait.
But we were telling the truth about Chris setting up all the stuff while we're walking around looking at cars. I mean, let's be honest about that.
I would love to.
Look, I do the same thing. We go live with our 31st lap, which airs Thursday nights here on FingerLakes1.com, FingerLakes1.tv, podcast.fingerlakes1.com/31st lap. And that's the same thing that happens there usually. They just stay out of the way. Because when stuff starts not going right, I get kind of moody. So they're like, "We just don't want to help you," and it's fine. I don't. If something goes wrong, I'm going to blame me. I don't want to say, "Well, you're the one that set that up." And usually, I don't blame other people anyway. But hey, that's Bobby Brockway that you can hear there talking in the background. Bobby, you got that piece of junk done for Blizzard Bash or what?
Yes, it's ready.
On the trailer.
Trailer. It's not on the trailer. We'll put everything on the trailer tomorrow, and then we'll head out Wednesday afternoon. Wednesday night, whenever. You know how stuff always comes up.
Oh yeah, yep. Who's on the team this year?
It's myself, Jeremy Gard, which builds our engines, Brian Durham, which has been on our team from day one, just like Jeremy Gard, and stepping up to help us out because we can't keep a 4th person. Todd Mayberry, which runs with EPR.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, what a lineup!
Of Illinois.
Yeah,
what a lineup!
And at Spring Explosion, these guys, Bobby's team took second, and I think 3 of the team members finished in the top 6. They were second at Spring Explosion this year. They won it the year before, and they won Blizzard Bash. I think it was 2 years ago, if I remember right, Bobby. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep, we won Blizzard Bash 2 years ago, and last year we had a pretty rough go around. Go back and try to redeem ourselves, at least have fun, right?
That's
absolutely.
And in Spring Explosion, their 4th car was Adam Fushi, who went on to win Metal Mayhem this year.
Awesome,
nice.
So yeah, they have a pretty good open 4th seat that's got very very able drivers in it at different times.
Sounds like it.
For a while there was Vince Olivius was in that car as well, right? The 4th car was Vince's.
Yeah, Vince, which is also known as Toast, was our 4th driver. Unfortunately, a couple things happened, and he dropped out, and he was going to go ahead and step back up with us and run with us again, and he just had a little baby. So maybe we can get things back together next year and depending on what Todd wants to do. Todd stepped up, and so it's up to Todd what he wants to do. And well, I guess it all depends on what happens at Blizzard Bash. If things go good, you can't get rid of the team. Whether they want to leave or not, you can't let them.
Right.
Yeah, you walk out of there with a big trophy and all the money, and it's hard to go, hey, it was nice having you help us. You're out of here.
Yeah, right. No, it'd be all up to Todd. And, we've done really well on making team decisions, and we do it for fun, but you got to do it to want to win too.
Are you excited to be going back to Topeka?
After the butt whipping we took last year, I cannot wait to get back there. 10 times more pumped. A lot more on the line this year. We got to come back and redeem ourselves. We had the other team down, I think 3 cars to 2 right away, and they still came back and got the best of us. And we left there with our heads up, and we'll come back and see what we can do this year.
Tell me a little bit about. You were talking about the team decisions. Spring Explosion, coming back from second day inspection, Adam Foucher's engine started having a bit of a knock to it. And in the rain, in the pits, in the mud, underneath a tarp, using a forklift, you guys were able to change a full engine and transmission in about 2 hours. We know that there's going to be some engine changes. Hopefully it's not your guys's, but it's more than likely that you're going to see out of 270 cars, there's going to be some engine changes or things along those lines going on during the 6-hour fix during Blizzard Bash. I mean, what's it like when you have to undertake a project like that in the midst and in the pressure cooker that is a team derby with elimination style format?
It was, it wasn't a hard decision. The engine builder was okay with the noise that it was making, but the driver wasn't comfortable with it. So there was a young man there with a brand new engine. I think it was going back to Canada, and said we could use it. It was a guard engine. And once everybody looked at each other, we didn't even have to say anything. Everybody just jumped in, and there was other people. Todd Mayberry was one of them that helped us, and now he's on the team. It just, once somebody needs something, you don't even second guess it, and you go at it. Do I ever want to do that again? Absolutely not. It was horrible. You can't even do it that quick in the garage, I don't think, with the right tools.
No.
Yeah, it was.
Thing went together right, and that's just the team atmosphere. That's what makes it so good. You got a brotherhood that somebody's going to take care of you when you need it, and that's exactly what happened. And the people that weren't even on our team that jumped in and helped, we greatly appreciate everything they did too.
That's crazy.
So tell us a little bit about what your experience at Blizzard Bash has been like. I mean, you guys went out there, you won it, you came back the following year, and things didn't exactly go the way you probably would have preferred. You got the new driver in. What's Blizzard Bash and being able to go out there and run well mean to you? What's Blizzard Bash 2013?
To be honest, I know this is the time you probably should bite your tongue, but Blizzard Bash, other than a good promoter, there's been nothing, other than winning, nothing good about it. We went there the first year while it was under police surveillance, under cameras, inside, locked up. After inspection, somebody put a bar through one of our carburetors. They stepped up the security there the next day, put water in my gas tank, pulled spark plugs off of Jeremy Gard's car, pulled a ground cable off of Vince's car. It was just, it was great to win after so many things like that. People tried to keep us, knocking us down, and we kept coming back. And then to go back the next year, you were under the limelight, and everybody wanted you, and you get a tough run, where somebody else might get through with something to inspection. They hammered us, they fine-tooth comb all over us, locked our cars up, and even let the heat races start it, and so they can come back and look at our cars.
Wow.
There's just, I don't know. There's been no luck there with people wanting us to do good. So it's been a tough go around there. And then it's a 10-hour drive. The money that's soaked into just getting there is crazy. And then
how much is invested in your Ford right now?
Like brand new, or what are we talking?
It sits on the trailer right now. It's done. What's the final number? Throw me a ballpark. It doesn't have to be specific. I don't need the pennies.
You're looking at $10,000.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
grand, and there'll be 2 cars on my trailer and 2 cars on Durham's car or trailer, and so you're going down there with over $40,000 in the cars. Trailers, EPR has stepped up and let us borrow a 2-place trailer, an enclosed trailer for our tools, so we can lock them up, being down there, and having people like that's what makes Kansas successful.
Mm-hmm.
The sponsors, we couldn't do it without the sponsors. Or people like yourself. What you're doing for the sport is incredible, and it's keeping it alive.
Well, we're doing what we can out here, and it's nice to have connections like you guys out there in the Midwest that can kind of keep it going. We're going to get in hold of Chase Moellering a little bit later on. He's been a huge Crash Course supporter since day one, and he's on the opposite end of the spectrum. He does not have $10,000 invested in his cars, and he certainly isn't running Fords. He's still running Old Iron out there in Kansas. We'll be talking with him in a little bit on the DerbyParts.com hotline. Bobby, tell us a little bit more about what goes into the preparation for this. I mean, you have to get your cars to a maximum. You have to build them to a certain degree and have the rules to a certain specific build point. But at the same time, you've got the wild card in this is the draw. You go out there and if your draw is wrong, it completely sets you backward for the whole weekend.
Oh yeah, the draw is crazy. I mean, getting ready. All of us have been running other shows this year, so it's put where you'd want a little more time to build for this type of build.
Top 5 at Mayhem, Bobby
Brockway. Mayhem. Went to Mayhem. We finished 3rd there, and a couple of us ran some local shows around here, just so that our families could go and some of the local sponsors could go. So we ran around home, and it wasn't even. It was into September, I think. We just ran, and and then a couple other people ran, and so these sports take some time. And where people that live closer to Kansas, you can push the rules, because if they decide not to let you cut and you load up and you only got to drive 4 hours, that's no big. It's hard for us to push the rules because we got a 10, 12-hour drive, and if him or his other inspectors don't like something and they want you to load, you don't. So it's hard to push the envelope going that far away. That's what sets us behind.
What you have a pretty good finger on the pulse of who isn't coming. Who right now do you not want to draw in the first round?
I mean, I hear from the teams that are coming, it's probably the best competition that's been there all year. I couldn't even pinpoint one team, because all teams are going to be just as equal. I think everybody is on top of their game right now.
Is there anybody that you definitely want to get in the first round? Is that the are you going to go with the political answer?
You're going
to go with the political answer on that one too.
Answer that.
I'm
just say you're going to focus on we're going to focus on our own team preparation and focus on our race and make sure that we do what we need to do in order to put ourselves in the best situation to win. Is that somewhere close?
And that's 100%. There's nothing we can do about the draw.
There you go.
And, it's just hell, as much as I know, we could they could say they're making a draw and just put us with whoever they want.
That doesn't happen.
Who knows? I don't know.
I got a quick question. I know that you derby a ton. I mean, everybody out this way knows who you are, and everyone has a lot of respect for you.
By the way, Bobby, this is Josh Decker. He'll be signing autographs out there at our time.
That's not right. Anyways, no, my question.
I can't wait to come run. I so bad. All I hear is your name, and that is incredible. And to come run with you that'd be an honor.
Get out of here, please. You just made my day, dude. Okay.
I don't know if you're a drinker, Bobby, but I got your first beer
Absolutely.
just for saying that. I got the first drink for you saying that.
That was awesome. All right,
what were you going to say?
Back to my
Go
question.
ahead, Josh. What were you saying? No, I don't want to interrupt you, Josh. Go ahead.
Oh, that was awesome. Okay, so what my question was...
Josh, ask your question.
No, when there's a team derby, you run a lot of by yourself, and now I see that you guys are running a lot of teams. What do you think is more stressful? Do you have more fun at? What's the differences between them, and what do you like more?
Oh, they both have their pros and cons. I love the team derbies, but getting there is, my car's done. Another person, he's had something happen, so he's coming over, and we're going to finish his car tonight. So the stress, do you have your gas? I have my gas. Well, why didn't I get gas for you? Because you don't have your gas. I got my plates cut. I should have got your plates cut because you're busy doing something else. So then I worry about what other people think so much that it is so stressful because then, I just drove parts all the way down to Terre Haute, which is, almost a 3-hour drive. So nobody would have to come up here and bring the enclosed trailer.
Wow.
The team derbies is getting ready. Getting ready is so stressful because, if you're going to go to a regular derby and a family issue comes up, you can say, oh, I'm not going to race this race. I'll race somewhere else because it's just me.
Right.
When it becomes the team and everybody's got as much money and time away from their family, if something comes up, it's like you got to hope your family accepts saying, hey, I can't let them go out 3 on 4. Or the team derby is so stressful, but it is so fun. It is so rewarding because you win as a team, you lose as a team. You got somebody to fall back on. Individual derbies is just as incredible, but it's wherever you go. Do I have somebody that's going to run with me, or
right?
Hey, this guy is doing a phone interview. We're going to be the first person we're going after. All 10 of us are taking him out.
Right.
No help. So I mean, there's pros and cons. You being a big name out there, it's just, hey, I want to come from out this way and beat you because you're the big name out there.
I'm sure you get a lot of that.
Same thing out here. It is what it is. Team derby is, you got somebody watching your back. That's what makes it nice.
And they watch each other's back. That team, the guard team, Bobby's crew. When they were at Spring Explosion, you couldn't hit one without getting 3 hits back. And they were done with their heat in, it was about 6 minutes.
That's the most exciting part for me, is the one to watch the team. I cannot wait for this.
It's going to be.
And now, are you guys running all Fords, or what are you guys doing, or you don't say that? You guys not tell before?
No, you know what? There's people that try to hide stuff, tell you stuff. We're straight up people. You call us. I have nothing to hide.
Right.
And we're all taking Fords. We always take Fords. The arena is tight, so you in our case, we want Fords because you can get them around a lot easier. And I don't see us ever taking anything but Fords as long as the rules stay the way they are.
Now, Bobby built a wagon for Mayhem.
Right. I know he's good at building them himself.
And there was definitely some having to shake some cobwebs loose when you were building that wagon. We had talked by text message a little bit, and Bobby can tell you a little bit more about it. But he was a little bit uneasy on building that wagon.
Well, and I've only built old iron. I've been running old iron for a long time, but I've only ran like 3 wagons. And I've only missed 2 Mayhems, and you always see a wagon at the end. And so finally I'm like taking a wagon, and then I was kind of clueless on what to do here, and 2 phone calls, Toby Hiley and Josh Johnson. And Josh Johnson gave me some tips, and Toby said, build it like this, said the key word, and I built it like that, and it's the hardest car I've ever had at Mayhem. I came home and ran it 3 more times, and the front end was still in good shape. I just cut it up because there was absolutely nothing left of the back. It was definitely stressful because, when the Fords are like clockwork, you do this, then you do this. I didn't have a clue where to start on that wagon.
I actually last week was just watching your heat and from Mayhem, and that wagon definitely looked like it held up well. It was well put together.
Oh, thanks.
Wait till you see the Fords.
My question, Josh asked about the cars. Now I know you run, you derby with your motor builder. I've been to Mayhem once, and I went to Bash for Cash in Ohio, and those motors scream. What RPMs do you guys? I mean, is there a limit where Jeremy says, "Hey, don't turn it past this," or does he just say, "Do what you got to do"?
Jeremy says, "Do what you got to do." He will stand behind his product, not just to us, to anybody. He will stand behind his product. He just puts something a little different together. Usually, I'm like the low. I want something that costs $10 for $1. That's me.
You and Brian are gonna get along
we're
great.
gonna hang out good together.
And this year, he put me something together that it is insane, the RPMs that this thing turns, and I still have the littlest engine on the team going out there.
Wow.
His engines are incredible.
Yeah, there's actually a guy. Well, there's a few guys now, but the first one of his motors that I knew that ran in the area was at one of our big shows here a year ago. Jim Biggs had one in a wagon, and that thing was just. I heard some dyno numbers, and I won't say them over the air because I don't know how true it is or not. But I heard the dyno number and then heard that motor, and it was. My family's been involved for racing forever, and it definitely sounded like it, was all there. But maybe when we get there, I'll ask you off air what kind of RPMs you turn, or maybe I'll just ask Jeremy because that's kind of how I am. But it's just to hear those motors turning like that and the power they make, it's
impressive.
Yeah, it is. It's very impressive.
And to think of Derby and coming back from old stock 318s and 305s to what these guys got, I mean, oh man, what a change.
Right, and there's people out there with 10 times the horsepower we have.
Yeah.
And it's not all about that.
No, it's not.
I want longevity.
Exactly.
I ran Mayhem, this year Mayhem, the feature was 2 hours and 10 minutes. My radiator hit my cap, knocked it off.
Wow.
And I still ran, and finished third.
Yep.
Somebody in between, I wasn't even going to bring this up, but now you talk about, engine builders, and I had 2 spark plug wires. Somebody came in the pits, moved 2 spark plug wires on my car for Mayhem. Still ran 2 spark plug wires backwards. Still ran to the ends, Everybody else can have their horsepower, have whatever, their rev limiters. I don't run it, if I lose oil, I run it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It is what it is. And
I can't believe there's guys out there trying to hurt guys. I mean, you heard old stories about that back in the day, but I can't believe there's really people doing that. That's just so horrible.
I'm here to tell you. I mean, I have
beat you on the track.
I have maybe $500 in my Chrysler motor, and I'm here to tell you that if I caught somebody hitting my carburetor with a pipe,
I know.
Oh God, I couldn't imagine having. And I'm not just saying this because I'm talking to you. I'm just in general. If I had invested that kind of money into any motor and caught somebody doing that at a Derby, I wouldn't have to worry about running the Derby because I'd be in jail. I mean, that's just a dick move. Why?
I would have never thought at Mayhem something like that.
No.
Never in a million. That's my backyard. It's only 3 hours, but I've been going there from day one, so I consider that my backyard. Going down to Kansas, I still wouldn't think people would do it, but it just seems unbelievable what people will do nowadays. And
But it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't prove anything. I mean, if you're there,
if you beat a guy that's down on his knees, you didn't really beat him.
No,
but
exactly.
It's not even that though. It's if it's a crew guy from another car that does that, it doesn't prove anything. You win with an asterisk. When I win, I want to beat Brett Royer, or I want to beat
or
Robbie
Josh Decker.
Brown.
No, that's not going to happen.
And Josh is the same way. If everywhere Josh runs, it's where all the big names are. I mean, if he goes to wherever and it's him and 3 guys in Hyundais, it doesn't mean as much. Well, if you're going to go to a major show, why would you want to do? Let's run against the best and see what we got.
Bobby, do you find that that's happening just to your group, or do you hear that actually happened to a bunch of people, or does it seem like people are singling you out?
I don't know. I mean, I've heard of other people happening. The amount that it happened 2 years ago in Kansas was just us.
That's horrible. So that was directed right at you.
Yeah, and there was another team that had like a radiator hose loosened up, supposedly, that they knew about, and people seen them over there talking to us. So we don't know if that had something to do with it. I don't know, and we don't start nothing with anybody. I mean.
Right.
I try to get along with everybody.
Now, do you almost find that you always have to tell somebody to stay with your cars, even if you go register and all that, because you're scared of that all the time?
Have to, and this year, I don't know the time span. You can't have somebody there 24/7. My dad usually goes, and he's the one that stands by it, and Mayhem's his thing. So who knows, if he went to go do this or that. And but we put him on, and it ran fine. I mean, you heard it at the feature. It's Spring Explosion.
Mm-hmm.
Pull them out. I don't change spark plug wires. Everything's together.
Yeah.
It ran fine there, and then to go there, and then that stuff happened. So it is what it is, and we'll get through it. I mean, we still got through it. We'll get through it, and if it makes people feel better to do this to other people's cars, and they have to live with it,
That's
just
so
shitty.
frustrating. Yeah,
That is just shitty.
that's so frustrating.
Well, hopefully this year everything goes smooth. We sure wish you the best in safe travels. We got Chase Moellering coming up here in just a minute from out in Kansas. Bobby, it was great talking with you, and we really look forward to getting together with you down there in Topeka, and hopefully everything goes smooth, and we wish you the best of luck.
I greatly appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
You got it, dude. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, bud. Bye.
Bye now.
See you, buddy. Man, I can't wait to see his stuff. You always hear about him, but now I want to see it, touch it, feel it. I want to just...
Easy.
Maybe he'll let me drive it around the track.
Calm
Hey,
down.
maybe he'll let me drive that around
Maybe
to
if you're
inspection.
really nice, he'll let you stand next to it and make sure nobody touches
Okay,
it.
I'm fine with that. I'll stand
I'd
there
do
all
that.
day.
But I mean, how could you do that? That's just. And I can remember. I mean, I can remember going down to Shangri-La to the asphalt shows, and Ben Haas took a Newport down there. And of course, everybody else, we walk around and talk. Well, Ben was running. I was just down there with him. And when he fired it up, somebody dumped something down the stacks and it blew out. But it was only pop or something. I mean, it wasn't anything. But I mean, how could you?
How low class are you? I mean, that is never the right answer. I mean,
No.
How do you feel good about yourself?
Yeah, I mean,
Just scumbags.
yeah,
And that's what kills dirt. That's the bad side of it.
Yeah,
Those kind of
absolutely.
people are bringing it down for us. The rest of us are trying to grow.
We're running a little bit late
Come on, Chase.
on stuff, and we got Chase Moellering, and we went from talking about the big money engines and the new style Fords and stuff like that. We got Chase, who's running a couple derbies, and where he's at in Kansas, the Fords can't even compete with the old iron. So
That's cool, too.
And this is I know that this is Chase has been a big fan of Crash Course for all 6 episodes.
Yes, he is. Thank you, Chase.
He's-
Thank you,
Real
buddy.
good. Thank you, Chase.
from out there in Kansas, and we've messaged back and forth and just kind of talked a little bit about some of the stuff that he sees out there and what's going on in his hometown. And I knew immediately that Brian was going to like him.
Absolutely.
Brian's going to.
I like everybody.
He's an old iron guy and who's really into the old stuff. And I'm bringing Chase Moellering now in on the Derby Parts Hotline. Chase, welcome to the show. Sorry we're running a little bit late, but glad we can still get you in.
Not a problem. Thanks for having me.
No problem at all. We appreciate the support. Tell us a little bit about what you see in your neck of the woods. We're talking about Blizzard Bash and 270 cars coming out there and being a predominantly tilted Ford show, but what you see in your hometown isn't quite the same as that.
Well, I've talked to you and Decker both a little bit on Facebook, but around my area, it's more, the old iron is more predominant. I mean, the old iron is what rules the roost for the most part. There's still some guys that can make the tilted sticks. I mean, they can run them hard and they hold up, but it's not, it sounds like for you guys, if it's a tilted Ford, it is, I mean, it's hard, but around here it seems to be hit and miss more than anything.
Can you tilt your GMs? I mean, we saw a tilted Riviera. Josh can tell you more about how hard that was. We saw that run at Hartford this year.
It's like a concrete wall.
Can you tilt your old stuff too, or is that exclusively to the Fords?
Honestly, I'm sure you could. We haven't really experimented with it much. We're just hard-nosing, and that's about it.
But are you guys using distributor protectors?
Distributor protectors, cradles, tranny protectors, sliders,
Cool.
all of that.
Yep, awesome.
That's cool.
I mean,
I haven't gotten into that. I got a distributor protector and a cradle, and I feel pretty well.
yeah.
Built for everything.
The pictures that you have online, that was a Buick, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, how did that hold up? In it looks like you ran it a couple different times.
It ran twice. Front end starting to come up, the back end folded in like they all do. I mean, it's a strong car. It'll run next year again, but I don't know, for the first welded car I built, I thought that was a really strong car for what it was.
And you've been running for how long? Tell us again. You've been running for how long? I know we've already talked about it online, but throw it out there just so everybody knows.
This is my third year running.
Third year.
Been running stock shows my first 2 years, and decided to build a welded car for the hometown this year.
Nice.
So I mean, we go from sort of like Bobby Brockway, who's One Spring Explosion and Blizzard Bash, a guy who's been running for 3 years and just getting into the weld stuff, and he's saying, my weld cars are harder than your Fords.
Good for you, man.
Hey, Chase, down there in Kansas, you guys just drive around Main Street and there's still 67 Imperials laying there, or is it real hard to find cars down that way?
There's still some old iron. I mean, you see a lot of Vics around, but you have to look pretty hard to find a GM, but they're still around if you look.
How about Mopars? Is there any Mopars down there? Because it seems like
Yeah,
everybody
they're all
out
in
west
the
is.
they're all in the crushers.
Well, I was going to say that. Do anybody run them down there?
Yeah,
They're all
it
GM
doesn't seem
country?
like anybody runs any Mopars.
It's a lot of GMs, and a lot of Fords. A lot of the newer kids, younger guys, the younger generation, starting to get into the Fords, and some of the veterans are starting to get into Fords, but not a lot. A lot of the guys are sticking to GMs, and the Mopars are they're not here. I mean, there was one family in my area that ran them for years, and they aren't running much anymore. There's not many Mopars around.
Now, is that because no one's looking for them, or are they really just not? It's just not a lot of Mopars around there. No, that's a good question.
Gears are turning over there.
No, yeah, it's like I'm coming down there.
He's thinking,
18 hours.
How far away from Topeka? The trailer. We could do that.
There's really just not a lot of Mopars around. I mean, I've seen some. I mean, they're far and in between.
Wow. I guess we're a dying breed, Decker.
That's fine.
Chris, I'm not saying that my GMs will hold up to Bobby Brockway and stuff. If you put me up against any of them guys, that's
come on. Come on, your stuff's hard.
For me.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine, Chase. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
No way.
Oh, we're just having some fun, man. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Are you going to have the chance to get over to Blizzard Bash? Are we going to be able to see you in person over there? We're doing our live shows or no?
That's about a 6-hour drive for me, and I'm in college, and I'm probably going to have to watch it from the big screen in the dorm room.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we'll wave to you.
It should be a fun show. I was wanting to run the youth class, but it was just something that didn't work out for me. I didn't have enough time to go to the car. And
that's all right. You'll probably be better off sitting watching it in a dorm with a bunch of hot chicks and beers. So
yeah, there you go.
We're gonna live vicariously through you that night.
Really? He won't be. Josh won't be. Josh is going to be in his glory watching those things.
Oh, absolutely! I can't wait.
So, have you got any of your buddies listening to the crash course now as well? I mean, I'd be happy to hear about that happening.
There's a few that listen to it, yeah.
Yeah, really. That's good.
Good.
Chase has been talking to me on Facebook, and it was cool. Some people talk to you, and you say yeah, and then you look at it, it says Kansas, and it's like, oh, it's awesome. We're definitely spreading out. I got guys talking to me from Virginia, from all over, and I think that's,
but you're
awesome.
famous.
Yeah, right.
No, Bobby Brockway said so.
Well, that almost makes me famous, though. That's awesome.
Of course, we can't say that Chris gave him a $100 bill to do that.
I don't
No,
care.
I did not.
Made my day.
Nope,
I don't care.
I had no part of that.
Just that he's heard my name is cool.
I mean, Chase, tell us a little bit more about what you have in your area. You talked about running primarily stock shows, and then this year you migrated up into the weld class. Is it primarily a weld scene out there? Is the stock stuff a little bit more rare, like the chain and go stuff? Do you see a lot of 6-cylinder style derbies with the Corsicas and Luminas and Cavaliers and stuff along those lines?
I run mainly Northwest Kansas. It's real Northwest Kansas. It's up within probably 3 hours is the farthest I'd probably traveled to any show around me. And there's basically a fine line between, it's either black or white. It's weld or no weld. There's probably the 5 or 6 shows near me. There's probably split in half of stock shows and weld shows.
Mm-hmm.
We've gotten it to where all the weld shows are all run the same rules, so we're trying to help the car count everywhere.
Has that been beneficial? I mean, getting everybody in the weld rules to follow the same guidelines and build specs?
I think it didn't help. We just started trying to do this year, but I think next year and the year after that we'll start seeing everything start. You'll see the result of it.
What's the landscape like out there? I mean, is the environment primarily young people like your age that are just starting to get into it that are breaking in, or is there still a healthy part of the old guard that's used to run and just kick the windows out and go, and that have been forced into this weld division?
It seems like there's a lot of young guys running the stock shows.
That's good to hear.
2 or 3 stock shows that are north of where I'm from, that there's probably at any one 5 to 7, probably 16 to 22-year-old kids. Young guys just get into it that are running, and they're starting to run the welded shows too. So I think there's the younger generation getting into the weld too. It's not just the older guys running the Weld shows. I mean, it's starting to. I mean, there's still some young guys starting to get into it.
How about Imperials? You guys got Imperials out there? What's your thing on Imperials?
We don't. None of our rules allow them. I mean, I don't know any show within probably 4 hours of my hometown that allows Imperials. I mean, nowhere in Kansas that I can think of off the top of my head allows Imperials. Colorado does some. Nebraska does some, but nowhere where I run are Imperials allowed.
So I was talking to you the other night, and I think you were saying that you've actually never watched an Imperial run in person.
I've watched. Now that I think about it, I've watched one. I mean, it's been 6 years ago.
I see like 5,000. I mean, how many we watch get wrecked? Thousands.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's pretty strange.
It was a subframer, and it was a very strong car. But after that, I mean, Imperials aren't common around here.
And do you think if someone happened to bring one down there, it could get past inspection, or do the guys down that way know what they're looking for?
I mean, they don't allow them. They don't allow them.
I've been to shows where they weren't allowed
I'll
to
get
get
through.
in.
Not even a question.
The key is to put the right bumper at the front. They don't know.
If you cover up that big beam, you can get anything.
Cut that beam off.
You bring a car down, Decker, and we'll see how it.
That's a long ways. How about you buy one and build it, and I'll pay it, and I'll take it to the track. Can we try that out?
Give me the car, and I'll think about it.
Well, there you go. There's your offer.
That's a long
Making
ways.
a college kid build your car for you.
That's a long
Yeah,
ways
Decker,
away.
you're a poor college kid. You want him to buy a car for
You
you?
need some extra money.
Yeah. And where's he going to get it if you're
How
running
awesome
the car?
would it be to go that far away in Derby, though? I mean, just to be in that, just everything I'm sure is different out there. I would love that.
Absolutely.
Is there any other cars out in your area that have been outlawed? I mean, we've seen roundbacks in different circles that have been thrown out. We've seen weight rules that have outlawed some of the early '60s Chryslers and mid '60s Chryslers. We've seen different places where the 03 and up and the roundback have been tossed out. Can you run pretty much anything? Is the Imperial the only thing that's on the banned list?
With our Weld rules, we cannot run the Suicide Lincolns. Those are outlawed. We run the GSA rules, which they run anywhere from Illinois to Kansas. Our rules, we changed it just a little bit to where we can run the roundback wagons because the Chevy wagons are still around here. There's still guys that like to run them. But other than the Imperial and the Suicide, everything else is fair game.
That's awesome.
That's good because I mean we heard earlier when we were talking with Sam Williams that they just this year are reallowing the Chevy wagon back into Blizzard Bash, which was just a logistical thing. You couldn't get them turned around. There just wasn't enough room for those things to run. Which was strange to hear that about the Chevy wagon, but the 4-door Cadillac never came up. That's still a heck of a wheelbase to try and whip around.
Something I'd like to see. I mean, I'm not saying Sam Williams or someone I'd like to see a 4-man team show, something like Blizzard Bash. With Imperials, like Decker. Make Decker happy. And
Oh, man. That would be the best show.
You're
8 teams
you're
of
really
Imperial.
popular in the Midwest. How'd that happen?
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Keep spreading the name.
Because they've never seen them.
That's so true, probably.
But they have, though. I mean, we've had highlights with him running, and they see his ugly mug here twice a month.
That is true.
That's awesome.
Well, I think Chase is onto something. I think that'd be great to see. I don't care where they do it.
No, definitely would be just awesome to watch.
We definitely have to load the wagons for that.
We got to start pushing for a team show up here. Wouldn't it be cool if there was just one place?
Boy, I wish there was somebody that you knew that was somehow close to some grounds that they had room for doing. I don't know, let's just throw a fairgrounds out.
Right,
maybe Broome County.
Let's see if I can work on that actually, because that would be pretty neat.
You just gotta get me the information, and we'll hook it up to the wagon and make it a big one.
Let's okay, we're on that. I'm on
All
that
right.
actually.
You take care of that. Chase, you can come out. Josh said he'd fly you out. He'll pay for your flight to get here so you can see the Imperial Team Show.
I'd probably do that.
That actually sounds like a good deal.
There you go.
Sounds good. Chris, I need to borrow some money.
Brian, we need to get sponsors, so quit begging free stuff.
Yeah, we know how that works out for you.
Well, Chase, I mean, is there any place anybody can get a hold of you to find more information on what you're doing with derbies and what's going on out there in your neck of the woods in Kansas?
I'm on Facebook. Other than that, yeah, it's Facebook.
I thought Kansas had their own Pro Board site as well.
Yeah, Kansas does have their own Pro Board site. I don't know what the.
I don't remember what that
That
was.
way, Chris, put them right on the
It's
spot.
Kansas
Yeah.
Derby Forum on Google. And
Yeah,
find
it is. I don't remember the name of it. Kansas Derby Forum or something like that.
Rain Man, you something Derby you don't know, Rain Man?
Yeah, I know. It took 7 episodes.
Wow.
Brains on overload.
Rain Man. I freaking love that. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get a decal made for my car. It says Rain Man on it.
Do you know a graphics guy?
I do. I know a couple.
Cool. Good for you.
Yeah, I met some new ones. It's pretty
Awesome.
good.
Good to hear.
Chase, well, man, we sure appreciate you coming on and talking a little bit with us. We look forward to having you on again, and it's a long ways away, but if we can make one of these things happen someplace, we'll try and get you out to it.
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, man.
Thanks,
We
Doc.
appreciate
Enjoy
it.
college, buddy.
Take care.
You know, he's been talking to me the last couple weeks, and he seems like a real good guy. I like talking
Yeah.
to people from far away. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Something about that's real neat.
Yeah, because it's easier to bamboozle them, right?
Sound like I know what I'm talking about.
What we don't know is that he's showing other people's trophy collections. This is what I won this year.
Yeah, I take a
This
picture
is
of Brett's.
this year.
This is my Orange Imperial.
You know what I should do? I should go in his garage, snap a picture, and then put it as my Facebook page. That's what I should do. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
No, because all his good trophies are inside.
I know. Or go
All
to
the
Robbie
tall
Brown's.
ones.
Go to Robbie Brown's basement, full. You can't even step. You walk to the bottom step, trophies.
Yeah.
An entire basement full.
Well, I was talking to Jesse yesterday.
But is he going to let you back in the house?
Hey, that's after air.
I was talking to Jesse Howe yesterday. He said that he's thrown a bunch away. He's only got about 60 left.
No, Jess,
Only-
give him to me. Give him to me.
He's only got about 60 left.
No, he's won some awesome ones. There was seasons that he won every single derby he went
Yeah.
to.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, man, that guy was
Jesse's-
good. Jesse's one of the best,
Yes.
hands down.
Yeah, I learned a lot from watching Jesse.
You think
Howe.
we can convince him to come in sometime?
Yes.
You think he'd come?
Yeah, and he's got so much knowledge.
But the
Just
thing
talking
is
to
if
him
he comes in, you guys can come, but I'm keeping your mic shut off, and we're not going to have any calling yes, because we're just going to let him talk, and we're going to
No,
learn
you
as
know
much
what?
as we can.
Well, I'm telling you,
How's this?
it'd be
Jesse,
awesome.
Jesse is like Decker said, he's knowledgeable. There was a guy having trouble yesterday in the pits, couldn't get a car running, pumping gas right up out of the carburetor. Who'd they go get to fix it? Jesse.
Yeah.
Jesse came over, messed with it a little bit, vroom, running.
I can't tell you how many little tiny things he's picked on my cars over my life and said to me, and I stuck with those.
Yeah.
And they work. I
Yeah,
mean, when he
absolutely.
tells you something, you better be listening.
Absolutely. He's just one of those guys. I mean, he is old school.
Awesome.
And unfortunately, he doesn't run anymore. But
No, he's gonna. He has to. I want to be in one more heat with him.
But the thing is, the only time I've ever been on the track with him was at the state fair, and I don't know if we ever even bumped into
Really?
each other. Yeah, the only I remember I think it was the last time I ran, and we were up there, and Jesse had a clear shot. There was a fire, and he had a clear shot on my front end, and I don't know if he just didn't take it because it was too early or what, but he didn't, and I was happy about that, and he kind of got my attention. We kind of knew each other, and
So that would have been
pointed
the late 90s?
and showed it early 2000s, yeah.
Yeah.
And said, you got a flat tire, and but Jesse, and again, I bought a wagon off Jesse.
Was it really flat?
Yes.
Was he just messing with you?
Jesse
No.
was in my first derby ever when I was 16 years old in my first heat, him and Harold, and obviously I lost to them, but Jesse hit me so hard, my face hit the steering wheel. And I still got the video. I was just showing it to buddies the other night. My face hit the steering wheel. The EMTs had to come check me out to make sure I was okay. Swear to God, first derby
So
ever.
yeah, I can remember, and Mark Benjamin's going to love this, but I remember being at Whitney Point,
Uh-oh.
and Mark and Jesse
Oh,
were
boy.
battling for the win.
Oh, this isn't the story I thought you were going to tell.
And Jesse had, I think it was a 62 Imperial.
Would the steering wheel come off?
Nope.
Not that
and
year?
Mark
Okay.
I think Mark had a black 67, and they came down. And
Yeah, but wait a minute. You qualified it by saying Mark had a black 67. Okay, so that's any one of about a gazillion cars that he runs.
Right.
absolutely.
So, well, they all had Imperials back then, but it came down to those two, and it was just great watching them. And, Jesse, got him up against the wall and hit him, and Mark's car stalled. Well, Jesse backed up, and I don't know if it stalled or Jesse just shut it off, but this is the end of the demo. And Mark started back up. So they waved Jesse. Jesse reached up, started it, and that ain't no high dollar,
No.
$5,000. That's a Jesse Howe, 30 years of Derby knowledge. Big block Chrysler. He just hit the button and it was running. And Jesse ended up winning it. But I mean, that's
Reliable.
that's what it's about. I mean, that's why him and Harold Benjamin and guys like that, and Brett's dad used to run, and I assume some other guys. I know Jesse's got a brother or two that ran.
Lenny.
Yep. And,
No, the whole Howe family, but that whole group of people.
But
were
I mean, if you look, that area has just got so many good Derby drivers.
history. There's
There
history.
is so many wins right down there in
Oh,
that
my
area.
God.
And I don't like to give Decker credit because it hurts him, but you look at somebody like Decker who's come up through that, and he's never ran an easy Derby. I mean, you think about it, and generally guys get to run easy derbies.
Our live viewership just dropped by 8 people.
No,
Did you
you're
see that?
absolutely right.
And that's the
But
truth,
hold on
though.
a second. It's taught me a lot about
Oh,
driving
absolutely.
because every time you're out there, those guys are so good.
And that's
So
the thing.
good.
I mean, I think that's what they get a lot of in Ohio and a lot of in Illinois is there's such a concentration, and it just improves the drivers. I mean, there's good drivers here, but it's rare that you get 12 of them, 15 of them, 50 of them
In one spot.
In one spot.
No, so true. So true.
I mean, that's
So true.
But that's I mean, I was talking about it with Richie yesterday. Decker growing
Walton
up.
area's got the same kind of dynamic.
Yeah, definitely. Walton's a good.
Oh,
it's a
Walton,
hotbed.
man, there's some great guys down
Yeah,
there. But again, I have a video, which I was talking to Jay Tweedy about. I got a video from the 90s when it did a thing about the
National
Walton Fair.
Geographic, I think.
I still have the tape.
Yeah.
Chris, I'm telling you, it's awesome. It shows, back then they had a wagon heat, and there's like 30 clamshell wagons in a line. I mean,
Yeah. And they were all
Walton
junked
was,
at the end of the heat.
and Walton was always like one of the biggest around.
Oh, yeah.
Walton is like a mecca of derbying around
Yeah,
here.
And the Friday night show there still is one of the hardest hitting shows in the state.
Absolutely.
That's the only derby that I've watched. Like, I'm sure Decker will agree. Like, you go out in a derby and you hit somebody and you're like, man, I can't wait to see that on tape. It's going to look awesome, and it looks like a bumper car hit. Walton is the only place where I've watched and sat and watched my tape and went, oh my God, I can't imagine what it looked like in person, because that looked hard on tape.
About 10 years ago, they had they took the top 10 winners from the past, and they all had to put $100 in. And I was there that night. Beersy, I think, won it in a 65 Imperial. The best derby I'd ever watched. I mean, ever. It would the stands were shaking, the hits. I mean, there's only 10 cars, and that track is gigantic.
Yeah, it's
and they're hitting each other so fast. You're hearing cars shift. That's scary.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're going too fast, and those guys every hit are going too fast.
Yeah.
And boy, there's some real ballsy guys out there. Some really great drivers.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to be able to compare them. We're going to be able to put them side by side. We are headed off to Blizzard Bash, leaving on Thursday night. We will be with you live. If we don't get the live feed out of there, it will at least be available online immediately after. Be sure to keep an eye on the Crash Course Facebook page. We're not really sure how the whole schedule thing is going to work out because we don't have all the details yet from the Topeka Expo Center. So stay tuned to the Facebook page for the Crash Course. We've got additional details on the schedule coming there. Right now the game plan is to do morning programs on Saturday and Sunday, somewhere in the 9 o'clock hour. And it'll just be a short recap of what we saw and what we went through. And we'll be able to tell you everything you want to know about the Blizzard Bash. And also keep an eye on there. We'll also be sharing the pay-per-view link if you want to get the whole program, where you can see the Crash Course working trackside with heat analysis and trackside analysis throughout the whole pay-per-view event. We're about 7:15. We've been doing this for about an hour and 15 minutes. The sauce is coming up here in about 45 minutes. We do have to get out of here. We appreciate everybody hanging out with us in the live chat. Big thanks to SB Motorsports Announcing for keeping an eye on that and relaying everything. I'm sure he was texting feverishly as we got through that, but my phone shut off, so I couldn't really get all the information from him.
I seen him shut it off, Steve.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Actually, you threw it, Steve, to let him pull it.
It's over there under the couch with Josh Decker being great.
All right, get out of here. Let's get out of here.
Well, we appreciate you. Appreciate everybody again taking part in the Crash Course. We'll see you back here again next Monday, as long as we make it back from Kansas in one piece. But before that, Friday and Saturday, or Saturday and Sunday, we'll be seeing you from the Topeka Expo Center. We appreciate everybody taking part of it, and we'll see you back here again.
Let's kick JM out of there. And a team.